Welcome back, dear students. Today I am going to talk about solar cells. Solar cells are the devices which convert solar energy into electrical energy by photovoltaic effect. And about this photovoltaic effect, I will be talking at the end of this video. And because they work on this photovoltaic effect, they are also known as photovoltaic cells. And according to this effect, light directly changes into electrical energy when incident on a certain sensitive material. And these cells, solar cells, are made up of semiconductor devices. And you know what is semiconductor? It's a material in which conductivity is between conductors and insulators, whose conductivity is between insulators and conductors. And this is a typical solar cell. This is a typical solar cell. Okay, this one is a single solar cell, and a single solar cell, when exposed to light, it can produce about it can develop a voltage of about 0.5 to 1 volt. And it can produce about 0.7 watt of electricity when exposed to sun. And when these solar cells are arranged together in a certain arrangement, this produces a solar module. This is a solar module. It is made up of many cells arranged in a certain arrangement. And when these solar modules are connected together, and these are arranged together, this produces a solar system. This is a solar system, or we can also call it a solar panel. And these arrangements are meant to produce a desired potential differences. Let's talk about now photovoltaic effect. The structure you are seeing here is the structure of silicon, and silicon is the semiconducting material, and there are 4 valence electrons in the silicon. And this silicon will form covalent bond between the neighboring atoms. Okay, these are the covalent bonds. These are the covalent bonds which are made by mutual sharing. When the light strikes this material, when the light comes, here the light comes and it strikes the material. That means it will strike the electrons also. And this electron, it absorbs this radiation. It absorbs this radiation. This means that it absorbs the electromagnetic radiation. And due to this absorption of electromagnetic radiation, this electron gains some energy. And due to this, it will excite. This means that it will not maintain its position. It will break the bond and it will be excited. This means that it will become a free electron now. This is not a bonding electron now. It will become a free electron now. And in the similar manner, electrons are eliminated by this electromagnetic radiation. Electrons are rather excited by this electromagnetic radiation, and these electrons will become now free electrons. This is called a photovoltaic effect. This is the photovoltaic effect, and it is similar to photoelectric effect. If you have studied the photoelectric effect, and in photoelectric effect, the electromagnetic comes and strikes the material, and in photoelectric effect, the electron will be ejected. It will be ejected from the material. And in photovoltaic effect, electrons will not be ejected from the material. It still resides in the material. Now the question is, how does this ejection of or excitation of electron produce the electricity? And we know that electricity is not produced by random movement of electrons. Electricity is produced by certain by a special movement of electrons when the electrons are flowing in one direction only. Now the question here is, how will electric current be produced? Let's not talk about how the solar cell generates the current. As we have studied that solar cell is made up of semiconducting material, and the solar cell is actually a diode. Okay, it's actually a diode. If you have studied about the diode, it's a device which is made to allow the current to allow the charges to flow in one direction. This means that solar cells are solar diodes actually, and these solar diodes will allow the charges to flow in only one direction. This means that when we get the flow of charges in one direction, we will get the current. And how this diode is made, let me talk about a little bit about it. These diodes are made by joining the two semiconducting material. Okay, by joining the two semiconducting material. One material is electron rich, as you can see here. There are many extra electrons, or there are many electrons, and here, as you can see, there are many holes. And this region is electron deficient, and this region is electron rich. And these two materials are joined together. These two materials are joined together to form the diode. And after joining them together, we will form a layer. This layer is called a depletion layer. You will learn about this diode in higher classes in detail. So, how the current is possible? Actually, there are two ways by which we can connect this diode to the battery to generate the electric current. One is forward bias. As you can see now, this is the forward bias, and this is reverse bias. Second one is reverse bias. This is forward bias, and this is reverse bias. Observe it keenly. As you can see here, in the forward bias, negative is connected to the negative of the diode, and positive is connected to the positive of the diode. And in the reverse bias, negative is connected to the this is reverse bias. Positive is connected to the negative, and negative is connected to the positive. Okay, that's the reverse bias. And in forward bias, we will get the current, and the current is due to the electrons. And in the reverse bias, the diode will block the current. We will not get any type of current. Let me talk about now advantages of using solar cells and the limitations of using solar cells. In advantages, solar energy is free of cost and does not cause pollution. And they have no moving parts and require little maintenance, and work quite satisfactory without the use of any focusing device. And they are easy to install, move around and expand if needed. And they can be set up in remote and inaccessible areas, or sparsely inhabited areas where laying of power transmission lines is expensive. And talking about limitations, the special grade silicon that is used for making solar cell is limited in nature. And the entire manufacturing process and the silver metal used to interconnect the solar cells in the panel are very expensive.
And all the parts of the world do not receive enough direct sunlight throughout the year. And photovoltaic cells are easily broken due to the material they are made of. So these are the limitations of the solar cells.